How do you feel?
I feel great. I'm extremely excited. I feel like the week one in the NFL is always a really, really exciting week. Every team in the NFL's goals are out in front of them. You've worked since we came back together virtually in April for this week. Everything that we've done through virtual meetings, OTAs, minicamp, training camp is for this. These are the games that matter. These are the games that are for real.
You sound like a guy who's ready to play.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't be more excited. These last couple of weeks for me, I set it up in New England. This is what I love to do. I love being out there with my teammates, and I tell people all the time, the hardest part of our game is when you're injured and you can't be on the field, and that's what I dealt with for 8 months since December, and it was just really exciting for me the last couple of weeks being back out there.
Ready to play 60 snaps if you need to on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm always ready to play 60 snaps. You just you play this game long enough, you know what it takes, and for me, I've early on in my career, I kind of learned you approach. It's cliche to say, but you approach each play, and then I kind of learned it when you play preseason games, and everybody knows you may play 8 plays, you may play 12 plays, you may get a quarter, but you're not playing the whole game. But yet you prepare that entire week like you're going to play the whole game. And that really has taught me over the years how to, on Sundays, go out there and play one play at a time. And you play one play at a time, you put one foot in front of the other, and if that's 30 times, 60 times, 75 times, so be it.
What are the qualities of Joe Judge that have stood out to you?
The biggest thing for me is his leadership. This is my first time playing for a head coach that's not an offense or defensive-minded coach. He's a guy that's had, in his special teams background, he's had the whole team in his room for all of his meetings. And you see that throughout our entire locker room. The leadership of guys on offense, guys on defense, certainly guys on special teams that he has a close eye on. So for me, it would be his leadership ability.
How does your role change if Evan doesn't play?
You know what? To me, I probably couldn't sit up here and tell you how my role is at this point anyways. We're going to go out there and, the guys we got are going to give it everything we have to try to go beat the Denver Broncos. And, in this league, all you're doing is worrying about 1-0 this week. We want to go beat the Denver Broncos.
Is that a little strange for you as a guy who was in one place for so long, was so entrenched there, to come here and not really know kind of how you're going to fit in?
I'd be lying to you if I knew what my role was each and every week in Minnesota as well. That's the nature of our position. When you go into a game, you may catch 10 balls. You may not catch a single ball, and you may be in pass protection. You look at the team that we're playing and the 2 guys that they have on the edge. I can guess what my role is going to be for most of the game, but at the same time, you have no idea, and that's part of the beauty of the tight end position. You have to be locked in on every play because our role is in all 3 phases of the game: run, pass, and protection.
The offensive line is taking its share of criticism, but you haven't been in there, and I mean that's one of your strengths. How much can you improve the line by being in there?
I mean, I'm not going to improve those guys. Those are 5 guys that have worked extremely hard, 5 guys that, in my opinion, have the toughest job in our game. You think about who are the highest paid players on defense. It's the guys that they got to keep from getting to the quarterback. But at the same time, I have done a lot more pass protecting and blocking in years, recent years. So if I can be there for them and help them and take some of the burden off them in protection, then I'll gladly do it.
I know it's not part of your assignment this week, but the guy who's playing quarterback for Denver, you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, he's as good as they come. I couldn't be happier for Teddy, for his opportunity to be the starting quarterback. He deserves it. What he went through when we were together, the fact that he's even playing football right now is a true testament to him and his work ethic.
Do you sneak into the defensive rooms and let them pick your brain a little?
I'm pretty familiar with this quarterback and that offense on the other side. I played in it for a few years as well, so if they ever have any questions, I'm here to help.
Obviously, there's the familiarity here for some of the guys with Pat Shurmur calling the offense. You obviously, I remember talking to you when you guys were in the NFC title game about your affinity for Pat. Will it be good to see him as well?
Yeah, it definitely will be one of those guys that hopefully after the game, after a win, I can go see him and say hi and ask him how he's doing, how his family's doing. But he's one of the guys that I have a great affinity for in this game and have a ton of respect for. I had him as a position coach and I had him as a coordinator, and he's as good of a human being as they come, and he's equally as good of a coach.
Kyle, I know you don't know if Evan or Caden can play, but if they can't, is your foot ready to play 70 snaps a game?
Yeah, I answered that question before. Whatever's needed for me, I'm ready to go. Whether it's 25, 50, 75, who knows, with overtime we could get into the 80s or 90s. I'm just going to keep going until they take me out.
It's kind of funny how now you're the healthy guy.
Well, I've certainly had enough time to get healthy, so here we are.
You mentioned Joe Judge's leadership. How does he lead? What is his leadership style?
He's tough. He's really tough. One of the first lines that stood out to me in our first team meeting in training camp was that, it's not going to be easy. His program here is not easy, but it's worth it. And, I've mentioned my familiarity with that style, having played for Coach Weiss in college, and it couldn't be more true. He pushes us. He gets the most out of us. But at the same time, he's always fair, and it's always worth it.